and welcome to Tea with Fee. My name's Fee and this is Make It So HQ. This week I thought I would give you a little quick run through on the patterns that I have designed over the last year. So grab yourself a cup of something and let's just have a quick recap on the patterns that I have made over the last year. So I was having a little look back. You may or may not know that I have an online membership, and within the online membership the members get a monthly pattern, and you have the option to have a box as well as the pattern, or just the pattern, the membership, the Facebook group and all the discounts. And depending on which option you go for depends on how much it's going to cost. So if you have a box, I'll just quickly show you what that looks like. So if you go for the box option, it tends to come in this format, and that then gets sent to your door if you wanted to, or collection if it's locally. But the reason for me doing the Tea with Fee on this topic this week is I've had quite a few questions from people recently about what the boxes were for. And the reason that is because the way that it's set up is you get the box first and then everybody gets the pattern via the Facebook group at the same time. So if you get the box first, you've at least got to see the contents of the box and have an idea to start thinking about what it might be that we're making. But then on the first of the month, the pattern gets released electronically via the Facebook group. So that can cause a little bit of untidiness, because if you haven't downloaded the pattern or printed the pattern off, if you choose to print the pattern off, you might not tie up the pattern with the box for that month. And if you've got a bit of a backlog, then you might get confused as to which is which, because it doesn't say on the box itself the month it's from, or even give you a clue as to what we might be making. So that's something that I'm going to take forward and try and make that a little bit clearer, because part of the reason why the patterns don't go in the box, other than the fact that it's quite nice for the anticipation, is to save paper so that you can just look at it online and refer back to that instead of printing it off, if you would rather do it that way. Or you can just print off the page with the instructions on what to cut out, so it gives you the option to do whatever suits your preferred method. Anyway, so what I thought I would do today, so it got me thinking about the boxes, and I have got a list of them and what had been made in each box, and I suddenly thought to myself, I've been doing this for quite a while now. I forgot how long I've been doing it for. So I just thought I would use the opportunity, and there might be a couple that I've missed out, but I think generally speaking I've got most of them. So I'm either going to show you what we were making for the month, or there might be a photo come up depending on whether I've got one available or not. So I just thought it would be quite interesting for us to go a little trip down memory lane. So the first ever box pattern, I can't even find it now. Oh, no. My first ever pattern that I designed, which wasn't a box, it was actually a workshop, my very first workshop. And it was called the Crafty Clutch. Okay, and all of these patterns are available on my website. So if you think, oh, I quite fancy having a go at that, then they are all available on my website. But this was the first thing that I made, or pattern that I designed and then did a workshop on it. So this was called the Crafty Clutch, and it folds down, and then it's got a zip pocket at the top, a slip-in pocket at the middle, and then there's a button pocket on the bottom, and then there's some plastic channels to put pins, needle books and your seam ripper, etc., and there in that. So that was my very first pattern that I made, and that is available on my website. So that was pattern number one, and I don't even know what month that was. It was 2021, but I can't remember when exactly, so I might have to look back at that. So there was a gap after that, and then I decided, I don't even know where, I know why I wanted to do it, but I can't remember what was going on, so that kind of like gave me the brave pills to just go for it. But I decided, I think it was a couple of weeks before Christmas 2021, and I thought, right, I'm going to do a box and see if anybody's interested. I limited the numbers, I think I did 10, and I sold the boxes. Now at that point everybody got different fabric. Now I tend to do the same fabric, and I use Lewis and Irene a lot, and also Tilda fabric. So they tend to be the fabrics that are in the boxes, along with Schmetz needles and Gutermann thread. They tend to be like standard. So this was the second project that I made, and this was like a sewing kit, and it's literally a little like book with all your essential sewing supplies in it. So it's just got a bit of elastic along here, but she's stitched down to where you want it to, and it fits in. I've got a seam ripper, the brush, you can fit a reel of thread in there as well. I've even got hand cream in there, because I don't know about you, but when I'm sewing my hands get quite dry. There's a pen for drawing out your lines on your fabric, that's an iron off pen, pair of tweezers, there's room for a set of needles, and in here you can fit a bobbin. I just stick my pins in, so hand sewn pins are just stuck in, and in this side there's a pocket. It's not designed to be used like this. In this pocket I've got pins, and I've also got a tape measure, and in the pattern there's actually stitches here, and it's more like a pleated pocket. So that was my first ever box pattern, and that was called the sewing kit, I think. So I made that, and then I just was doing monthly boxes for a while. So the next box was a sewing machine mat. So here's one that I made earlier, and again the box comes with all the fabric and the wadding in it, and we made this sewing machine mat. Now the one that I did in the box had, this has got Mini Elna stitched on it, which is my Mini Elna sewing machine. Let me show you that. How cute is that? Anyway, so I designed, I'll put a picture up, but I designed the sewing machine mat to fit a standard sewing machine. The original one, I'll put a picture up, has Sewing Mends the Soul on it, and that was a bit of hand embroidery, and it came with tracing paper, the embroidery thread, a hand sewing needle. I mean, literally everything you could think of was in the box. And again, you didn't need to. If you're not into hand sewing, then you could choose not to do that bit, but it was just like an extra skill. So that was then put on there. So that was the that was the next one, a machine mat. Then I did this pin cushion, and this is a really good size pin cushion. So kind of doubles up as a pattern weight. So again, in the box came everything to make the, now you get a metre worth of fabric, not all in one fabric. It's like broken down. Sometimes it's 4 fat quarters, sometimes it's 2.5 meters, but most of the time you get at least a metre of fabric. Okay, so this takes an awful lot less than a metre of fabric to make this, so you've got loads left over as well. So this was February 2022's box, and the only thing that didn't come in the box was the stuff that goes in the pin cushion. So there's rice in the pin cushion. I think I actually did put a little sachet of like dried lavender in each box, so you could add the lavender to the pin cushion, so when you stab it, it smells nice. So yeah, the reason that the rice didn't go in there was because of the weight of it, and to post them, that then is adding to the cost, so that's why there was no rice in there. But I figured most people would have rice at home. If you can't use rice, you can use flax seeds or like lentils or something along those lines. So that was February's box. March 2022 was the small bucket bag. Now, I loved this. Look at that. And the reason I came up with this idea was because I wanted all the stuff in my handbag to just sit nicely, and I love a notepad. So the notepad fitted really nicely in that particular size. And I tend to have a couple of notepads, a pencil case. For those of you that have been watching for a while, you would realise that, you know, this was designed with a specific purpose in mind, but it works for so many different reasons. So you can use it for putting your crafts in. I've got one that I take to church, and it's literally like my dedicated church bag that I take every Sunday. And then it's also got a couple of little pockets here as well. And again, that came with something called Decavil, which is what keeps it stiff and stops the sides from kind of flopping down. And that was something that we hadn't used before, so that was like a new product to use in that month's bag. And you can do various versions of this, and it used most of the fabric. So that was March. I've lost my page now because I used my book for to refer to. Right, hang on. Talk amongst yourselves. Right, yeah, so that was March 2022's project. April was log cabin squares. Now, this was actually a hand sewing project for a complete change. Now, you can do it by machine, but the Manx log cabin square box, and again, the pattern's available on the website, but the box had, I think it had 4 fat quarters in it, sewing needle, hand sewing needles, and thread, and possibly a pair of scissors. And it was in this really nice kind of, there was like blue polka dots, like little blue bells, a red, and I can't think what the other colour was. I think it might just have been cream. So they were the 4 colours in the box. And basically it was to make like a table mat. But the purpose of it really was to teach you how to do the Manx log cabin squares. So if that's something that you fancy having a go at, then I've got a pattern specifically for those. And it shows you what to do by hand and also explains how to do it on machine. So that was this time last year. That was April 2022. May 2022 was the book cover with a little pocket to put your pens in. And it's also got a ribbon marker in there. This black one was actually attached to my notebook, but the grey one is the ribbon marker that was with the actual cover, and that's a lined book cover. So that was in May 2022. June was a crochet roll, and you might have seen a bit of a theme going on here with I like a bit of matchy. So I kind of need to make everything in all the colours. So the crochet hook roll can also double up as a makeup brush roll and or pencils. So this is what it looks like. There aren't any in this one, and it's got a little loop here. So if you were going to use it for makeup brushes or pencil case, you wouldn't need to put this on. But that loop has like a key ring loop on it, and then you could attach your stitch markers to it. So that was the crochet roll, and that was June 2022. July 2022 was a bog standard cushion. And the reason that that was a fairly simple make was because we were doing a zip for the first time. So I didn't want to overdo it really. So we just did our first zip in July 2022. So for everybody that's been with me all that time, we've covered a lot of skills really, because we've dealt with wadding, binding, magnetic clasps, using the Decavil, the log cabins, Magnetic clasps, I've said that. What else have we covered off? The pin cushion. So moving on to August. August 2022 is probably the trickiest make to date, and it was a rucksack. So this is August 22's box pattern, and it is a rucksack with a pocket on the front, and also it's got a letterbox zip in the inside. So that was August 2022, and again the box came with the contents to make that complete bag, and you can buy it as a box, and you can buy all of these patterns and or boxes now. I'll just make it up retrospectively. So if you decide, actually I really fancy the whole thing because you don't have time to go shopping for all the stuff, then just let me know, because I can actually ship it all to your house, and all you literally need to do is put the kettle on, plug your sewing machine in, and just have some sewing time, and just recharge your batteries and fill your cup back up. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. September 2022 was my first attempt at putting a panel in a box, I think. If I'm wrong, then please feel free to correct me. So this was the panel, and it is to make an apron. I gifted mine to somebody, so I don't have it to show you, but it's gorgeous, and it's got this really nice bee pocket detail on 2 pockets at the front. So again, that came with the panel and the thread, sewing machine needles. You also get a bobbin every month as well, so I quite like to have a bobbin with the same thread on it set up all the time. So that's why I put a bobbin in every month as well, because you don't want to be taking thread off one bobbin just to put a different colour on it. It's a bit of a waste. So that's why you get one of them every month. So that was September 2022. Now, October 2022 was the tote bag. Now, if anybody's watched my stories in the last week, 2 of my sewing ladies are making these at the minute. Alwyn's making one, and Lynn is also making one. So this is the tote bag, which again, this was a panel. And the box came with this gorgeous pink fabric inside for the lining, and we made a drop-in pocket. So that was part of the pattern. So the panels tend to come with the instructions on them. However, because some of my members don't get the actual boxes, I still provide a paper or downloadable pattern as well. So I converted it to a paper pattern and added that inside pocket to the pattern, which wasn't on the panel itself. So this was October 2022's box. Okay, and again, available on the website, and I still have some of the panels available, so you can buy that in box form, pattern only, or you can even just buy the panel off me if you wanted. So that was October 2022. November 2022 was this cute little coin purse, and again, I gifted it to somebody, so I don't have one, but I'll see if I can find a picture and put that up. And the thing that I loved about it was so compact. So I'm like 5'2", and quite often little wallets don't really fit in my pockets very well. So this fitted perfectly with room to spare in my back pocket, and it was still big enough to fit my cards in. Have like a pocket, like a slip-in pocket and a zip pocket for your coins. So I really enjoyed making that one, and that was actually influenced by one of my sewing ladies who's made a suggestion about coin purses. So I took that on board and created it off the back of that. December, I did the box for December, but I also did an advent calendar in December. So it was a 25-day advent calendar, and basically everybody got a black bag, and within the black bag were 25 individually wrapped items that they had one to open every day. So that was another new thing that happened last year. And along with that was December's box, which was this gorgeous puffin cushion. And the skill we learned on that particular make in December was a concealed zip. So it looks so good. And this box came with the fabrics you can see on the back, as well as the puffin panel. And you actually got 2 of these. So they weren't 2 the same. So you might have got this one and possibly this one. But everybody got 2. Again, they are still available as well and can be made up retrospectively, but the pattern to make it is on the website, because not only did we do the concealed zip, but we also did this like patchwork. So I've covered that off in the pattern as well. And then that was like 2022. So that's 12 patterns plus the December's one and the very first crafty clutch. So that's 14 patterns so far, and I've not even hit 2023. So 2023 started with, and again, I was trying to kind of tailor it to where we are in the year. And I also didn't want to go like full on Christmas, because you might not make it at Christmas time. Christmas can be a really busy time for people and maybe didn't have time to sit and make a Christmas themed thing. So anyway, that's why I went for the puffin cushion. But January's box was a hot water bottle cover, because again, January 2023, gas and electricity prices were going up as well. It was really cold. Everybody was thinking about, you know, being a bit more aware of what they were, how much electricity and heating they were putting on, etc. So I thought hot water bottle cover would be a really good thing to do at that point. So the hot water bottle cover included bias binding, wadding, quilting, and also some hand applique with some like double-sided, think Wonder Web. If you know what Wonder Web is, that's stuff you iron on to keep your hems up. Pretty much the same as that, but it comes in a sheet form, and you just so we traced out the petals onto this sheet of glue, basically, cut them out, iron them onto the fabric, peel off the back end, and then that makes that side gluey. Gluey, is that even a word? And then you put that onto the other fabric, iron them together, and then they're stuck together, and you can leave it like that, or you can sew over the top for a bit of detail. So that was January's pattern. February followed on with the whole, you know, let's try and keep our houses as warm as possible, and we did a draft excluder. And the draft excluder also included some applique, but this time it was hand turned applique. So that's when you use your needle to turn the edge of the fabric under, so there's no raw edge, and you hand sew it round the pattern or whatever it is that you're adding to the front. And this particular box came with the actual draft excluder cushions. So normally with any of the other cushions that I've done, the cushion pads haven't been included because they're kind of a standard size. And again, shipping it would increase the price of the boxes to the members. Or to my customers on the website. So, but I made an exception with the draft excluder because it's an awkward shape, and it's actually really hard to buy a draft excluder filler. So I included that in with the boxes, and that was February. March. Oh, now we have a discrepancy because I've got puffin cushions written down for March, but I've just talked about them in December. So there's one missing. Oh, that's puzzling. Right, you might get a little update later when I figure out which we did after the coin purse and before the hot water bottle cover. Right, that's going to annoy me now. Anyway, so you get the general idea. This month's box pattern, dun, 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 I'm not going to tell you what it is. So my reason, if you like, for doing the boxes in the first place was I love teaching people to sew. However, it's capped at how many people I can physically teach in a week because there's only so many hours in the day. So I thought, well, what I could do is reach more people by giving them a project that they can do from the comfort of their own home. And that's how the boxes started, and then they led on to, well, let's take that one step further and do the membership. So the difference between just buying a box, and the boxes are available for you to buy as standalone boxes, but the difference between just a box or joining the membership is the membership you get lots of discounts for local shops and my shop, but you also get a video every month on how to make the actual thing that was in the box that month. And that is hopefully going to just increase as I find my feet and work out what else I can add in and get feedback from you guys. And hopefully we can then make it even better than it already is, because the discounts that are already available are fantastic. So April's box is on its way. Some people have already had the boxes. I've posted all the ones that need posted. And by the time you see this video, everybody should have had theirs. So it's just a case of waiting for the first of the month for the pattern to drop, and then everybody can just get sewing. So going back to my previous point about the reason for making the boxes was, so I wanted to try and reach more people because there's only so many people I can reach, which I've already said. And I thought a lot of people are so busy. Everybody is so busy. And we tend to put ourselves quite low down in the pecking order of, you know, priorities. And if sewing is something that you enjoy doing, you're probably not going to, you could be in a situation where I really want to go and do some sewing, but I've got all this other stuff to do. And, you know, you're pulling your hair out because there's not enough hours in the day. And ultimately what happens though is we just like hit a wall, and we just, you know, we've not looked after ourselves. And if we've not looked after ourselves, we crash, and then the house comes tumbling down on top of us, and then everybody suffers. Or that's what happens in my house anyway. So what I think is really important is that we need to take some time out. It's not a luxury, it's actually an essential to being the best version of you there is, and also being the best help to all the people that you are like putting yourself out there to help. So your family, you can help your family more if you're already like at your best and all topped up and ready to go, rather than like driving on empty. And that's where the boxes came in. So my thought was, if you got this box sent to your house every month, it's literally a gift to you. You are getting a gift every month to you. So imagine getting that through the door every month, and then you just sitting and thinking, oh, I wonder what's in the box. Do you open it immediately when you get it? Do you wait and think, do you know what, I'm going to get a cup of tea, and I'm going to sit and take my time and open it and just like savor the moment? Or are you a kind of rip it open, I need to know what's in it now kind of person? But the point of it is, you get this gift to you every month, and then my gift back to you is that you then make some time in your schedule. And if you're like me, I honestly totally recommend planning and scheduling your week. It's totally crucial to keep smiling, because you just know what's happening. I mean, it's a bit ridiculous maybe to write down. Well, some people would find it ridiculous. I think it just makes sense. Is what are we having for dinner all week? And then you're not thinking about it. I hate thinking about what I'm going to have for my dinner. So if I've already decided on Sunday we're having these items for dinner all week, then it comes to dinner time, or when the note goes off on my phone and says start dinner, I can go, oh, well, and it tells me what I'm having for dinner, then job done. So what I'm saying to you is actually book time in with yourself to go and do some sewing. Get the box, go and find a little corner somewhere, make yourself a cup of tea. There's actually a tea bag in the box. I mean, you literally just need to carve some time out in your schedule and think about it as you're doing everybody a favour. You're not being selfish. You are looking after yourself because there's so many other people that you're looking after that you're not looking after you. So you are doing this to help everybody else because you are such a caring and loving person that you are actually putting yourself out there, doing all the things for all the people that you love, and then you are putting yourself at the bottom. So what I'm saying to you is, in order for you to care for all the people that you love and look after all the people you love to your maximum, at your best, at your level 10 life level, then you need to look after yourself. So to do that, if crafting is your thing, then you need to fit crafting in. So it's like doctor's orders. Do you know what I'm saying? So you go, you do some sewing, let me know how you get on. And honestly, crafting has changed my life, and I know that sounds a bit dramatic, but crafting has totally changed my life. It's given me a purpose. It's given me confidence. Before I started doing craft, I didn't craft at all until my son, who's 17, was about 3. And sorry for going off on a tangent. So Lucas was about 3. It was winter, and he needed a pair of gloves, and I couldn't find him a pair of gloves. So I used to knit. My gran taught me to knit when I was about 8. I had done my knitting badge at Brownies or Guides, and I made myself a jumper. And honestly, my mum only put it in a charity shop like about 2 years ago, and I hadn't even thought about it for a long time, and suddenly decided, I wondered if she's still got it. And when I asked her, she'd already literally several months previously just put it in the charity shop. Can't find the pattern. I have been all over Pinterest. It's an 80s quite Aztec-y kind of jumper. Honestly, if I'm determined to find this pattern and remake it. But anyway, tangent again. So I used to knit. The biggest thing I'd ever knitted was this jumper when I was probably about 11, 12. And my mum ended up having to give a note to the Brownie or the guide teacher to say like that I hadn't done it myself, because it was, I think they just wanted to make a square or something. But I guess I was always like, even from the age of 12 or whatever, I was obviously one of these like go big or go home kind of people. That I decided I was making a jumper instead of just like a square or a scarf. Anyway, so I hadn't done anything really since then. YouTube had all the videos, and ironically, this is now a YouTube video, so that is quite funny. So I taught myself how to make a pair of mitts, and literally I just got the bug after that. That must have been before Christmas, the first year we were here, because my mother-in-law then bought me my sewing machine for my Christmas that year. And I honestly wanted to go home early from Christmas Day dinner at my sister-in-law's house so that I could plug in the sewing machine and give it a go. I was that excited. Had no interest in sewing prior to that point, really. I don't even think that I had even said that I wanted a sewing machine. I just said I'd bought curtains and they were too long and I needed to take them up, and that was it, really. And literally the rest is history. So off the back of me starting to knit, I then kind of fell into the sewing world. I worked for a bank at the time. And since that point, as a result of doing the crafting, I've got more confidence. I've made more friends. I left my job at the bank and I've now made a job out of crafting. My husband has written books. So James has written books based on the crafting, inspired by the crafting. I set up Crafternoon Tea down at Union Mills Methodist Church off the back of picking up the knitting needles to make Lucas a pair of mittens 14 years ago. Honestly, you have no idea what crafting can do in your life. So yes, I know it sounds really dramatic and probably a little bit like, whatever, what is she on? What is in that tea? Well, actually, the cup is empty. So yeah, note to self, I need to fill my cup up. So anyway, my point is, don't underrate the power of crafting and doing stuff for you, because off the back of it, you can get so many more rewards that then overflow into the rest of your life and benefit all the people in your life. So that was really not where this video was going at all. But anyway, it's kind of just gone there. So I'm going to sort of like round it up for today. But what I would say to you is, going back to the boxes, the membership is actually a closed membership. So I've waffled on about all these boxes and the membership, and it isn't actually open at the minute. But if you're interested and you think that's something that you would like to get involved in, then message me, and I'll put you on the waiting list for when I open up the doors again. I have got space for about 9 box members. However, the non-box members are kind of like unlimited, but it's just that the door's not open at the minute. But if that's something that you think that you would be interested in, message me, comment below, whatever you want to do. Make sure you subscribe and get the notification bell thing on YouTube, so that when I post anything new, it'll go on there. I'm planning to do like walkthrough videos on like sewing machines and how to cut things out and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be happening. But like I say, if you're interested in joining the membership or getting a box, then let me know. In the meantime though, the boxes and all the patterns are available on my website, and you can buy them standalone as they are. So if you were interested in any of the things I talked about today, then check them out on my website and join my mailing list on my website, and then that's another way that I can keep in touch with you and tell you all the exciting news. And I think that's probably about it. I think I need to go and have myself another cup of tea and just get myself all geared up for the weekend. So thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry that I waffled on. It really didn't go the way that I expected it to. But, you know, I guess it needed to be said. I felt passionate enough about it to share all that with you. And I look forward to speaking to you all soon. So thanks for watching. Bye.